Hi. I think we are live right now. Hello. Hello. I welcome you here. In this moment. Welcome. And we're just going to sit here for a little bit. And we're going to wait for people to jump on the live stream, whoever wants to come on. And we're gonna sit here together. Now, as an introduction to this event, I want to invite everyone to join us on Sunday during our healing event. It's a place where we can interact live together, where we get to know each other in a deeper way. And it is a space within the healing transmission, and the energetic transmission amplifies and can accelerate your transformation in an incredible way. And so I want to invite everyone to join us on Sunday for this Zoom healing event. Registration is by donation. It's 9 a.m. PST. If you can't make it, there will be replay for everyone who wants to watch or who can't make it live. Hello, Rimjim. Rimjim says hello in the chat. We say hello to Rimjim. Hello to everyone that's here. I made myself green tea, and it's far too strong. I forgot the tea bag in. I was setting up the stream. Oh my god, that tea packs a punch. Oh god. Okay, that was probably the only sip that I'm gonna have. So anyway, let's move into today's topic, which is a surrendered stance with manifestation. Because manifestation is very interesting. Because whenever you have a teaching, whenever you have a suggestion that this is the way to get the things that you want and that you dream of, that you desire, that you wish for, on one hand is beautiful, and it's a beautiful thing to have a permission to dream and to desire, and a lot of the times to see your dreams through to completion and to go after what you want. That is an incredible thing. On the other hand, there can be a great danger. There can be a great danger where when the ego gets, or when the ego learns about that teaching, it suddenly learns that this is the way to get what I want. This is the way to finally get the things that were withheld from me in my past. And so when we have an immature ego structure or an immature emotional body, the way we interpret the law of attraction is I'm going to think a certain way, I'm going to behave a certain way, and I'm going to manipulate myself and my emotions and my emotional body, my reality in a certain way, in order for it to get me what I want. And so the most of the time when we approach manifestation, it's really the most immature part within us that tends to be the most attached to it. And it thinks, and it believes, and it was convinced, and it was told that that if only it could think a certain way, if only it could feel a certain way, it would finally receive all that it has wanted, wished for, and desired since it was a little tiny teeny thing. A little tiny teeny thing. Now in trauma-informed psychology, there is this term called magical thinking. And it is because when we are traumatized within certain predicaments, when we are children, when we feel trapped within them, we fantasize about being rescued from them, or somehow getting away from the insufferable circumstances of our past. And it just so happens then that a lot of the times when we have an insatiable desire within us, it is oftentimes coming from that traumatized place, where we want to be rescued by life. We want to be rescued by the divine. We want to be rescued from the pain we never had the chance to integrate. And so the true art of co-creating with the universe, with the divine, is a two-step process. And the first step is surrender. Now, what do we surrender to? We surrender to what is already here, to what was already created for us to experience. If there is a pain within you, that pain has a purpose. If there is misfortune within your reality, that misfortune has a purpose. It was created by the divine. And if we are to co-create with divinity, it is never with the intention to get us away from what is uncomfortable. For through the first step of surrender, we recognize that that which is uncomfortable has a purpose. And that purpose is to help us heal, to help us grow, to help us integrate, to help us awaken out of the story, the disempowering story we tell about ourselves. And so the first step of manifestation, the stage of surrender, everything has a purpose. Everything that is here was created for my highest evolution. And when I try to get away from it too quickly, the only thing that is going to happen is that it's going to draw me back in, because it's kind of like quicksand. The more you want to run away from it, the more it gets you. The more you struggle against it, the more it pulls you in. And so what if we could simply sit here and explore what it's like when we acknowledge that everything within you, everything within your reality, everything within your experience has a deep and meaningful purpose. And it was created to help you grow and to help you heal and to allow you to be fully initiated through the first stage of manifestation or co-creation, which is the stage of surrender. And it is the first stage that most people want to skip. It is the first stage that most people avoid with all of their might, because they're run by a program or a belief that says, I have to get away from this, or it's going to last forever, it's gonna get me, it's gonna harm me. But we simply surrender to what is already here. And what can oftentimes help us to surrender to what is already here is the acknowledgement that it's not going to last forever. And yet, we know it's not going to last forever, but what if we could be so surrendered that we kind of pretend as if it did? And we surrender to this moment as if it was the last moment you will ever experience. As if there was nothing beyond it. As if there was nothing to pull you out of it. You fully surrender to what is here now. There is no running away from it. There is no escape. There's no one coming to rescue. There is just this. And once you are fully rooted in what is here, you have integrated, or you have fully acknowledged and taken in the purpose this moment was already created for. And once this is fully digested, a doorway can open up, which can take you to a higher reality, to a higher dimensional space, to a higher timeline, where things can get easier, things can feel lighter. But you have to honor the two-step process. The first step is surrender to what is here. And the second step is being open to receiving the renewal. And so it's really a cycle of death and rebirth, where we die to what is here. You die to the moment, you die to the intensity, you die to the discomfort. You simply allow it to be there. You don't struggle with it, you don't fight against it. You simply drop into it as much as you possibly can. And then, without the need to be rescued from anything, a doorway will open up that will actually allow you to receive the renewal that was always meant and destined to be here for you. But the renewal is never at the expense of digesting what you are meant to face within yourself. And the truth is, most people simply want the things that will help them escape themselves. It's called consumerism. And then we have spiritual consumerism. And we want spiritual experiences, we want spiritual manifestations, we want new spirit guides, we want better spirit guides. And if only I had a better spirit guide, then my life wouldn't suck so much. And instead of, like children on the playground, or like, my dad could totally beat up your dad. We're like, my spirit guides could beat up your spirit guides, because my spirit guides are so much better. Because I can hide from the feelings of disempowerment by pretending that my spiritual endeavor is going to make me into something that is so almighty and so all-powerful that the abusers or monsters from my past cannot get me. But the abusers and monsters from your past are simply the layers of emotion that already live inside your body. And so we are literally creating and perpetuating war with our emotions. That's not the law of attraction. That is the law of distraction. The law of distraction. You are distracting yourself from what is within you. That's not it. That's not it. The true power of co-creation is surrendering to what is here. Surrendering to the fact that it was only created by your highest consciousness to help you grow and evolve and heal. Nothing is against you. And the rule of thumb is that it's always going to take usually far longer than we would like, than the ego would like. Because for the ego, the time is never right. It's either taking too long and the ego is bored, or it's just unraveling in the process, or it's too soon and the ego feels unprepared. And so for the ego, it's never the right time. And so it's gonna feel like it's taking too long, or it's gonna feel like you're not ready for it. Both of those experiences are simple as symptom of an unraveling ego structure. And then we understand the true purpose of the law of attraction. The true purpose of the law of attraction is to deepen your journey of embodying your soul and the divine from a surrendered space. That is the true purpose of the law of attraction. It's your spiritual evolution. It's the evolution of this entire planet. That is the reality. It is not the overly simplified version of the law of attraction that says, well, if only I could think a certain way, better things would happen. Your thoughts don't create reality. If you have never been told this, I'm so sorry to disappoint. Your thoughts is what's being released through your crown chakra and returning back to source. And trying to have better thoughts, trying to have positive thoughts, is not to affect the outcomes that you will experience. The thoughts that arise are a healing taking place, just like within your emotional body. Now, if we want to have better thoughts, positive thoughts, those can help us be more in harmony with our emotions. Perhaps we choose to think about gratitude, or we focus on gratitude, we shift our attention towards gratitude, and that can create a deeper sense of ease within you. It can melt away emotional layers within you. It can melt away love. But it's not, well, if I am grateful, then my reality will immediately shift and I will have a better life. No. It's I'm grateful, which will in harmony help me to be more surrendered with my emotions. And the more I surrendered, the more high realities have the permission to enter. Does that make sense? If you'd like, you can let me know in the chat if this makes sense for you, because this makes a lot of sense for me. Because I'm someone for whom the law of attraction never really worked, and I was always really confused by it when other people talked about it. Because I would be having all kinds of amazing thoughts, amazing experiences, and yet my life would be falling apart. And the truth is, I was just going through the first stage. And I was thankful. I was thankfully fortunate enough that I was briefed by many of my mentors and teachers that, yeah, this is what's happening. You're going through the surrender process. Nothing's wrong. Everything's working out. And you're going to be okay. And that is the message I wish to relay to you as well. There's nothing wrong. You don't have a lesser access to your manifestation powers or anything like that compared to anyone else. And you're totally going to be okay. You're not missing out on anything. You're simply going through the stage of surrender that is necessary for you, that you are always destined to live out. And it is only preparing you to receive so much more. What you have always needed, what you have always deserved. and shall always deserve. It's just not necessary to keep on obsessing about it. You don't have to obsess about the things that you want. You can allow yourself the permission to have desires, but the obsession is actually a hindrance because it contracts you emotionally. And the agenda of the divine is for you to heal. And it will spare no expense, but to create your life in such a way that you have only the option to heal. It will trigger the crap out of you. Just so. The stored emotions and memories that have oftentimes been waiting for resolution for generations, for decades, for centuries even, can be released. And so your purpose, your mission of why you are here is far greater than simply fulfilling your desires. Having your desires fulfilled is a part of the journey. It is wonderful. It's not always going to happen. There's going to be times in your life when things are going to work out, and there's going to be times in your life where they won't. And you are guaranteed to grow from it and learn from it and heal. And this is the type of teaching that I really want to dive into on Sunday and truly honor this two-step process of surrender and receiving, the preparation and the expansion. Now, sometimes people do this interesting thing where they book a call with me right around the time when we have an event. And what I would actually really encourage people to do, if they are interested in sessions with me, I think a wonderful first step towards that is actually coming to one of the group events, because that's how we get to know the energy, that's how we get to feel into it, and that can open up door within us. And then when we are one-on-one, we can just dive deep into that. And of course, some people like a little more one-on-one work. Some people some people prefer group work. It really depends on everyone's preferences or where they're at in their journeys. And there's beauty to both. There's benefit in both, in group healing and in one-on-one healing. And in the group community, we get the chance to really create a sense of togetherness, that we are all healed together here. We are all here together to heal. We are all healing together. We all have, in some ways, similar experiences, and in some ways completely different ones. We are all unique, and everybody has the chance to be fully honored and seen in their own uniqueness. You also get the chance to be witnessed when you are in your own process and you engage in a dialogue, which can be a radically healing experience. And so, I love group healing events. As an attendee or as a, creator? Space holder? Wait, there's a right word for it. Facilitator. As a facilitator or as an attendee. I love both. And I invite you to attend on Sunday. The divine is always here for you. It's always accessible. That's the beauty of it. We always have access. All that is required is to be open. And isn't that one of the tragedies of insisting on getting what we want so tightly. When we are in the mindset of my way or the highway, it contracts our emotional body and shuts off our nervous system, which means we are not as receptive to the grace and the divinity that is already here. That is why obsession is not necessary for you. It's not necessarily even healthy or helpful for you. It is simply a very young part within you that was traumatized to a certain extent, that is fantasizing about a better possibility. But this is where you don't have to live in fantasy. You actually get to live out the real, authentic journey of yourself. The journey of authenticity. The journey of experiencing the most real you that has ever been there. Now I just want to check in if anyone has a question for me, or if anyone wants to share anything. You can share it in the chat. I'll answer to the best of my ability, and I'm going to guide us all through a closing meditation so we can ground all the energy that was transmitted here today. So if you have a question or simply want to share, write in the chat. Or if you just want to say hello. There's a question. Divine surrender leaves me in a state of inaction, especially if I don't feel inspired to take action. In life in general. All right. Well, I would say that the hiccup here is that what you may perceive as inaction is actually making peace with helplessness, meaning there is meant to be in your life in the future, there is meant to be inspired action that you are going to take. But right now in your journey, it's not about that. It's actually about integrating the layers of helplessness within you. So whatever action you do take in the future is not a version of, well, I just don't want to feel helpless. And so this is literally just making peace with helplessness. Because a portion of your ego structure was created as a reaction to this helplessness. And what you are now opening up to and learning is that it's okay to feel helpless, and it's okay to allow it to be healed, just as another layer within you. And so that's where the surrender is. We surrender to the fact that in our past we have felt helpless, and that it has to a certain extent motivated our actions in life. And that is the part of you that has been dying, and it is the helplessness that is being healed as a result. And we love ourselves through the helplessness. It's not going to feel like that all forever. You don't always have to feel helpless. It's just a very young part within you that is finally getting the opportunity to be healed. And so you can just do this as a meditation for yourself, and you can just sit and explore, what is it like if I fully allowed this helplessness into my experience? What if I allowed helplessness to fully express itself? And can I hear it out? And you can even, try to express it in some way. For example, writing it out. Like you tune into the feeling and you just write out whatever it wants to share, whatever it wants to say. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. This is crazy. I feel helpless. I feel like people are going to hurt me if I sit still. And you allow it fully into your experience in the way that is the most authentic to you. Because the solution to helplessness is not to try to escape it and act in reaction to it. The solution to helplessness is to fully allow it and then act from whatever inspired action is actually underneath it. It's like, what action do I want to take when I don't feel helpless anymore? That is the invitation for you. So I hope that helps. You're welcome. And see, this is perfect. This is like the first stage of the manifestation process. We surrender to the helplessness. And you're gonna make your way to the second stage. It can only happen that way. And it's gonna happen in spite of everything you do. You don't have to try hard to get to stage 2. It's gonna happen in spite of all of us. It's just when we understand the process, it's very easy to harmonize with it. And we go through contraction to expansion in a very easy way. We just don't have to run away from the surrender process. And then our desires become actually aligned with what we need with our healing journey. And then we start desiring things that are incredibly beneficial and good for us. And that's when you make it really simple and easy for the divine to actually deliver to us all that we wish and desire receiving, because it's exactly what we need. And so when people feel in flow, like life is just going their way and they're just moving through reality in a way where everything works out, it's actually because they're experiencing a state of alignment. And it's the state of alignment that says what I need and what I want are one and the same thing. And they have aligned themselves with that. When there is this harmony, when there is a sense of like, well, nothing ever works out for me, I never get what I want, I never get what I desire, that's because we are experiencing what it's like to have great divide between what we truly need and what we actually want. But what we need is sometimes just like you asked in the chat, what is it like to be with helplessness? We need to integrate helplessness. And the helplessness becomes helpfulness. And the first stage of transforming helplessness into helpfulness is just being helpful to the helplessness by hearing it out fully and letting it express and give it a room to exist within you. So anyway, we're going to move on to our meditation experience. And the meditation experience is what I like to call, what if I didn't need to change anything? What if I didn't need to change anything? I'm not saying nothing will change. It's just, what if I didn't need to change this? And you can just sit, you can feel into your body. And you can feel into whatever sensation is happening within you, wherever that is. You can breathe into it. And we simply say, what if this didn't need to be changed? What if this could simply be here? We feel into our heart. And we say, what if nothing within my heart needed to be changed? We feel into the mind. And we say, what if nothing within the mind actually needed to be changed? Nothing about the mind needed to be changed. We feel into our body. What if nothing about the body needed to be changed? Now we feel into our environment. And just for one moment, what if nothing about our environment actually needed to be changed? And here's the big one. Here's the really grand one. We feel into our desire to change things. Our desire to run away, our desire to escape. Our desire to fix. Our desire to be somewhere else or someone else, doing something else. And what if even that didn't need to be changed? What if none of that needed to be changed? And as you move yourself into that openness, what you are experiencing is a state of awake presence, awakened consciousness that says, I don't need to change anything. I am the change. I am the evolution that is already unfolding through everything, within everything, through me and through everyone else. And so, what if one of the biggest reasons why you don't need to change anything is because you are the change? You are the inevitability of change. You are consciousness. And consciousness is only destined to make everything better. It's its only agenda. And when we desire to change things so deeply, it is because we have only forgotten that we are the change. We are the change that is taking place. We are the change this world needs and has been waiting for. You are that. You are the change that this world is destined to experience. You are the change that will transform everything on divine timing. You are the inevitability of change. Not someone who needs changing. Not a problem that needs to be fixed. Not a broken person or a thing that needs to be fixed or put back together. You are the change. You are the healing. You are the light. And there could be a question inside of it that says, well, how can I change? Change what? Change who? You are the change. You are that which always moves into a higher possibility of light from one breath to the next. Your breath is the evolution of divinity taking place within you. Your awareness is the evolution of divinity taking place in all things. Your true nature is the aliveness within each and every emotion you experience, within each and every repressed part. And the more we acknowledge this, the more life is breathed into all repressed parts within you. You are the change. And you are the change for the better. You are the change for good. You are the change towards love and compassion and virtue. You are the change. And I congratulate you on reclaiming your one and true identity as the change that you have always been and shall always be. Please come join us on Sunday to be the change we all deserve, desire, and need. Registration is on my website. Thank you for being here. All my love to you. Thank you for being the change that you cannot help but so effortlessly be. Take care of yourselves. Namaste.